Retro, let's get it.
We in the chop shop, we live in the chop shop. We talking sports talk, we live in the chop shop. We in the chop shop, I'm talking sports talk. So turn your dials up, it's live in the chop shop. We in the chop shop, we live in the chop shop. We talking sports talk, we live in the chop shop. We in the chop shop, I'm talking sports talk. So turn your dials up, it's live in the chop shop.
Yeah, it's lit in the chop shop. Turn your dials up in the drop top. They ain't based to debate, but they keep it fact straight. Going 30 for 30. Let's do a first take on Facebook Live from 12 to 2. Rob Hatter and Jim Hicks going back and forth like Carter Ray, Skip Bayless, and Stephen Smith. From on the court, off the court, straight to the field. Not a man that steals, but I made it steal to the octagon where I fight to kill. We go face to face, then you write your will. I don't play tennis, but I bring the racket. I'm on the floor, I attack the basket, put you in the casket when I'm overlapping. Never showing mercy, cause I'm always snapping. Never showing mercy when I'm in the arena. Step into the ring, you see me as I beat him. Step into the court, I'm never backing down. Killing competition, I'm smacking down. Let me get back to the other stuff at the chop shop, cause they cutting up. It's retro coming to you live to the chop shop. Now let's turn it up. Yeah, we in the chop shop, man. Shout out to Jim Hicks and Rob Hatter. You can catch the chop shop live from 12 to 2 on Facebook Live. Let's get it.
We in the chop shop, we live in the chop shop. We talking sports talk, we live in the chop shop. We in the chop shop, I'm talking sports talk. So turn your dials up, it's live in the chop shop. We in the chop shop, we live in the chop shop. We talking sports talk, we live in the chop shop. We in the chop shop, I'm talking sports talk. So turn your dials up, it's live in the chop shop.
H-Town, what's up? You know what time it is. It's time for the best 120 minutes of your day. The Chop Shop, the nation's #1 urban sports talk show, and also your midday sports happy hour. Yours truly, Robert Hatter, alongside Jim the Cheat Sheet Hicks, coming to you live from Houston, Texas. But we're broadcasting all over the world via Facebook Live and YouTube Live. And it's a great, great, great day today. Jimmy, if you can come up in the screen a little bit, just help us out a little bit. And I just got so many unique turns that I want to go. We got a special guest coming on later today. Great guest. I get so I'm not understanding some of the coaches. I've had a good time with them. We used to have this rule, y'all, that a head coach had to come in, had the kid called in on the phone, but an assistant coach has to be able to come in person. So when we was in studio, so during this pandemic, so we dropped all of those rules, and we got a special guy coming up later, And I was just thinking about y'all last night, just thinking about the boom boom room, thinking about Jimmy's back. I can kick him back in. Just thinking about the boom boom room, thinking about the journey that we've been on. Chris Walker, Jimmy and I, and the many guests we done had on the show. And you know what I thought about? First of all, let me give a shout out to our starting five. Rod Wells, Derek Johnson, Anissa Veal, Todd Holmes, and Chris Charles. Those are the first 5 people that logged into my Facebook feed and Facebook and YouTube feed simultaneously. So, but it's I thought about something, Jimmy. When people come into your life, they would do one of 4 things. And I've shared this before on the show. They will either add to you, they will either subtract from you, they will multiply you, or they will divide you. I don't know about you, but I'm in a season in my life, I'm only bringing people close to me that's going to add or multiply to my life. I'm going to wave at the folks that subtract from my life and divide from me. So it's just, somebody might need that information today. I mean, it's just people come into your life for those reasons. But Jimmy, I was sitting there. I got a topic that's so cold. Somebody sent me something and said, Robert, we talking about this racism. Is your money racial? Is your money a racist? I know that's gonna be hard. Hey y'all, is the money, your money you have, is it a racist? If you go back and look at the racist policies and look at your life and look at your money and where you're spending it, who you're spending it with, and how you're spending it, and where you're investing it, and where you're not investing it, they asked me the question, is your money a racist? Heck of a topic. I'll bring it up a little bit later, but Jimmy, I know we got a lot of topics we want to talk about, but I just want to, because you got to understand, in this protest season, in this team for equal justice, hey, let me tell you something. We got to get our own house in order. You know, we got to get our own, it's some things that we can do to put ourselves in a better position. And I researched a couple of topics. I got seven principles you can use. I got some information you can use where you invest. I even had to go in and look at over 30 years in the workforce, me investing in a 401k. Guess what? I happen to be a African-American man who's running my fund, but I had to go out and look and see who owns him, who he worked with, and and who the firm that got all of my money tied up. I want to know who they are supporting during this election season. This one. Last election cycle was one of our important. This one is just as important. So let me tell you something. Now we got to figure out where you spend your money. Is your money racist too? And we got to. And guess what? We got to do some financial calisthenics and find out where and whom we spending our money with. If we sitting up here talking about, well, power to the people. I don't want to do this. I don't want to. Let me tell you something. Let's just do a broad overview of all of our lives and find out, is your money racist? But Jimmy, where you want to go? What's going on, man?
Well, we go around the horn. First of all, I want to give a shout out to a lot of the new viewers, first time viewers to the Chop Shop. Give you guys a disclaimer so you understand how this works. We broadcast Monday through Thursday, 12 to 2 Central Time. We're streaming simultaneously on YouTube and Facebook, right? And also we're on the A-Star television network in Houston, Texas. Shout out and props to E. White, the HNIC, him of course, and Kim Gagne. Now here's how you go. You have to feel compelled during the Chop Shop to voice your thoughts in one of the platforms that you're watching on. YouTube, Facebook, we call those the boom boom room. Like in the movie life, right? So don't hold back during the show. And as you do, you'll notice the audience is, compared to a lot of sports talk shows, this is a very educated audience. These are very, I'm telling you. So this is not your normal type of audience. So they're going to go back at you if you come incorrect. As you see, shout out to Walter Yates is back on in the Facebook feed. And I'm going to tell you something. He's not going to hold back. You guys understand, it's just part of the role play, the characters that people play in here. But at the same time, these are real people, robots. Now, I'll give you some of the news around the horn. Give a shout out to Malcolm Jenkins. He's been picked up by CNN as a contributor this season, which is a smart move because it makes CNN, which they've tried to tap on this type of stuff in the past.
A social justice contributor.
Yes.
Okay.
Remember,
okay.
D.L. Huey was once working for CNN, and it didn't spike well. Remember, but the timing I think is right for Malcolm Jenkins because they're leading into football season. You see, so the candle would be and the water would be bubbling. People were going to be intrigued in seeing what he's going to do, and understand. They didn't just pick him off the sideline. And I went and put my shovel in the ground. I didn't realize Malcolm has written for the New York Times. Malcolm Jenkins. He's written for the Washington Post. He's written for the Philadelphia newspaper. So he's penned a few columns here and there. So shout out to him. I mean, maybe because understand, this is time. Whatever you want right now that you think about fighting for, this is the time to fight.
And Jimmy,
you're gonna sit on the sideline.
This is the same guy, Malcolm Jenkins, that what's his name? That wanted to fight. What's the kid from the run? See, I only forgot his name. So I forgot his name.
Ed Reed.
Eric Reed. He wanted to fight him on the field. On the field. Before the game. They came, he tried to fight him because he didn't agree. And see, that's what people don't understand. And sometimes I think we have to understand, even the Kyrie stuff and this stuff, people are going to disagree. It's okay. It's okay. It's okay. It's Eric Reed with an I, Kevin Freitman. If you're going to give us the the information, spell the man's name right. Kevin Freitman on our Facebook feed, Jimmy, spelled Eric Reed's name wrong. But but I got you. But Jim, it's okay to not agree with me. I love it. It's okay, because then I'm gonna hear your side. It's fun. I tell y'all, it's fun. If you're around me, my friends, the people that's in my corner and around me, they know. It's okay. It's all right. I want you. I don't want no yes men around me. And I don't want no. So I love that Malcolm Jenkins stayed the course. They called him some people on this feed called him a sellout. Some people on our shoulder called him a sellout. Tell me he settled with the owners. He's settling with the owners. Now, guess what? These same owners who gave what 89 million. And then they doubled down and gave 250 million. These same owners, I know we might say it, but guess what?
But they ain't gave nothing. They
pledged. Okay, whatever. They pledged. Okay, NBA owners ain't did none of that, but Michael Jordan. You can look crazy all you want to. But NBA owners hadn't did none of that. They ain't even pledged. Excuse me. Thinking of Gabe, they ain't even pledged. The NBA owners.
In NBA, as far as the
NBA owners. I said owners. I didn't say owners. Owners.
Well, we're talking about when we look at the NFL. We're looking at the NFL, the logo, from the main office on downward. We're not looking through the owners. Understand that. But we look at the NFL day.
You finna change my narrative. I was talking about this. Who gave the money? The NFL gave.
Well, who was you just talking to when you said what you're looking at?
I said the owners. All I'm telling you, in the NBA, Michael Jordan is the only owner that came out and gave money. Find me another. I know you're gonna Google it. Find it.
He pledged.
Pledged money.
Big difference.
It's a big difference. But I ain't say
a bunch of pledges to a bunch of women. Maybe we ain't gonna be together forever.
Nah.
Back in your old days. Back in your old days when you rolling around, me and you gonna be together forever.
No, I didn't play it. I ain't never told no woman that. Like I don't have to lie to kick it. We got a break. We got a break, Jimmy. We got to take a break right quick. I know somebody laughing in the background, but we're going to take a quick break. Let me tell you, I got something from Adam Silver right quick. Hold on.
Really, it's more a sense from the entire NBA community that we have an obligation to try this, because the alternative is to stay on the sidelines. And the alternative is to, in essence, give in to this virus. And while on one hand, this won't be forever, and we will ultimately find a vaccine, presumably, or some sort of antivirals that will help deal with the people who have the conditions of COVID-19, that for us, we feel this is what we do. We put on NBA basketball. We think that for the country, it'll be a respite from enormous difficulties people are dealing with in their lives right now. And I also think in terms of social justice issues, it'll be an opportunity for NBA players in the greater community to draw attention to these issues, because the world's attention will be on the NBA in Orlando, Florida, if we're able to pull this off.
That's nice. Got something else for you, Jimmy. Hold on.
Hello, basketball community. This is Brian Jolivet with Above All Sports Hoops. I'd like to welcome all of you to the Houston National Summer Showcase, July 3rd, 4th, and 5th. Please visit our website at www.aboveallsports.com and register today. Attending the event will be Doug Jones with RCS Sports and Ball So Hard as our scouting agencies. We have processes in place to support social distancing and protect the athletes.
Sound white as
Should you have any questions, feel free to give me a call, 281-414-8103. Thank you.
And they trying their best to sound black as they can.
Welcome back to the best 120 minutes of your day. The Chop Shop, the nation's #1 urban sports talk show, and also your midday sports happy hour. Yours truly, Robert Hatt, along with Jimmy Cheat Sheet Hicks. Jimmy, I am loving these breaks that we're having, because if people, let me tell y'all something. When we go off the air and go into these just little 2-minute breaks, one of these days I'm gonna put a phone and tape it, and I'm gonna play it back for y'all to show y'all what Jimmy be doing when we on a break. But back to the task at hand. Now come on, Jimmy, give me some more. Give me some more, Cletus.
Yeah, we got some more stuff right now. How about let's slide over to the University of Texas.
Okay.
And we didn't touch it yesterday, but we're planning on, if you guys, because a couple of you guys emailed us and asked us why we didn't touch the University of Texas and the football over the weekend. In case you missed it, the football team, some of the players took a stand and against the university and the culture, basically saying that they were not going to help recruit any prospects on the program into the program, and they won't participate in any alumni events as they normally do. Well, when you say participate in recruiting the prospects, what happens is when those football games are taking place, there's often in football, there's at least on the average, at least 10 players that are on campus, what they call either unofficial or an official visit. Well, they assign some of the players to, hey, go look out for Lil Daddy. Take him, they're going to take him to the plays, take him to the spots, and that's normally what they do. Well, basically, so UT is saying we're not going to do it unless you adhere to a string of demands, which includes, is highlighted by removing the long-standing school theme song called The Eyes of Texas. And so the president of the university has since announced that he's going to he's scheduling meetings with the various student groups, because it's not just football players. Football players are the jocks on campus, and they are the red ants, and it's a whole ant bed. Now, mind you, University of Texas, in case you were out of state not knowing, back in 2000 and just a couple of years ago, about 3 years ago, remember they removed the Robert E. Lee Confederate statue. That took place, that was a statewide thing, because in HISD, which is our largest school district in the state of Texas, they went to renaming a slew of schools in the district and removing those names, which one of those schools in Houston was named Houston Robert E. Lee High School. That has since been renamed to Wisdom High School. But back to Austin, they removed those statues in 2017. Back in 2015, they removed another statue. I think that was Jefferson Davis, Jeff Davis. We had a high school in Houston used to be named Jeff Davis. Right around that time, they renamed that school. And also back in 2010, it was a Klan leader, right? That's name was on the dormitory. They renamed it. So this isn't the first time that in the last 10 years that University of Texas has been faced with, I guess, attention and requests and demands from their program. How do you think this is going to turn out?
Jimmy, I haven't followed this story, so I'm not going to sit up here and tell you I've followed this story. I really don't. I really don't understand it because I don't keep up with the University of Texas.
Because guess what?
Give me one point that you want
Well,
to talk about.
They want to rename the football stadium after the first black varsity player.
Okay.
His name was Julius Whittier, right? And they want to donate like 0.05, like a 0.5% of the revenue that the sports programs generate to either Black Lives Matter or other organizations which are fighting racial injustices. These are just some of the things that
excuse me. In the famous words of Jimmy Hicks, are these pledges? Or this real money? Is this pledges? Because you know you can pledge anything.
That's what all of it is, a pledge at first, Heather. But then people think that money is somebody's writing a check and one-time check and it's gone. That stuff is normally speared out over a period of time. I understand that, but you seem to have, when I said that people gave the money, you talk about pledge. So this is just a pledge, just something they think. Let me tell you something so unique about that, because I don't know if you ever been to Our. If you ever been to Our, you'll understand it's not too many of us. But the Our State football stadium is last name Trice, William Trice. It's the black player, Jimmy, who died in a 1923 football game between Our State and Minnesota. He died on the field. And William Trice, I think is his name. I know it's Trice. Their stadium is named after him. I wonder, do they give portions of whatever the money? I mean, their money's too. I mean, I think it's a great, great job for Texas to do. Even for Texas to think about, this red state, we're a blue city, but we got a red state. I think, Jimmy, just for them to even talk about it, I haven't seen it, but just for them to talk about it, I think my hat's off. I don't even wear a hat. My hat's off to Texas. And speaking of that, we plan to dive into this conversation a little deeper on tomorrow. And our guest is expected to be TJ Ford on Wednesday. So TJ Ford is one of the distinguished alumni of the University of Texas, and this should be a hell of a conversation on tomorrow. So make sure you spread the word, prepare yourselves, because we will pull up the doormat on that convo. Ada, what do you think about? Let's switch gears a little bit and talk some NBA talk. Right? Speaking of statues, Ja Morant wrote a letter to the judge. So in the hometown of his former college, Murray State, asking him to remove a Confederate statue right in the middle of the plaza of that city.
In Kentucky.
Yeah. How you say it?
Kentucky. No. Kentucky. Forget the last one. Oh, wow.
What's the first thing some of you guys think about when you hear the word Kentucky? I mean, I'm just curious. What's the first thing some of you guys think about?
I promise you, Adolph Rupp. First thing I think about.
First thing you think about?
Adolph Rupp.
I ain't gonna lie to you. First thing I think about is some of that good whiskey, that bourbon. First thing I think about.
I think about Adolph Rupp.
I'm just saying, I mean, certain things that just pop right in. When I think Kentucky, You know, some of you guys may be basketball. Some of you
The
guys
Derby.
may be
The
horse racing.
Kentucky Derby is second.
I mean, when I hear Kentucky, I think about the whiskey. But that's a whole nother story.
Okay.
I think I told it.
Because you're alcoholic. I understand. I got you.
No, I just, you know, I'm
Now
a
you're
connoisseur.
drunk. Now you're drunk because you don't go to the meetings. You're right.
And so you know what though? I applaud. Here's the thing, John Morant, that statue was there before he went to the school. It was there while he was there, and there are some people that saying, well, why he didn't say anything when he was there? The window wasn't open to get to move to probably the odds were not in favor at that time. John Morant was a student athlete, which is not that doesn't hinder him, but he doesn't carry the magnitude, the weight that he does now. Just only a year and some odd removed from the campus.
Jimmy, stop the press.
What happened? What we
Carry
got?
Holmes, we are going to erase you off of this feed. That man said, Mitch McConnell, Moscow Mitch. Jimmy, Carry,
if that's the first thing that comes to his mind. Gary Carter says moonshine. That's right there, Nick and I. And he said the judge.
Ashley now. But that's good. I'm just messing with you, Carrie. Carrie, I'm just messing with you.
Thinks of Muhammad Ali.
Louisville, that's right.
His mind.
Louisville.
But you know what? If you say Louisville, even though it's in Kentucky, but when I say just the broad brush of painting over the state, I have to really consciously think about Louisville and bring up Ali. Hey, that's a good one. That's a good one.
Jim, you know what I like about Louisville? A few years ago, I was up there trying to, what's the Lamar Jackson up there trying to mess with him and Teddy Bridgewater a while back, right? So I'm up there. So I'm in Louisville. A partner of mine said, man, I'm in Cincinnati. Man, come meet me up. I'm at a comedy club. Jimmy, I didn't realize. I said, man, I ain't going to Cincinnati. Jimmy, I got in the car. It's right up. I don't know. It's a short ride. I was living my hotel was in Louisville, but Jimmy, I went up to a comedy show and hung out. I did not realize Cincinnati was that close to. I mean, and people who know that geographical area, I just did not know. I went to hung out in Cincinnati and came back in Louisville to leave. So. I just wanted to talk about Cincinnati and Louisville. I didn't know they were that close. But back to Kentucky.
And speaking of Louisville, I'm not gonna lie to you guys. First thing come to my mind when you say the word Louisville, I promise you. First thing was when I was a little. Think about it, Louisville Slugger, the Bats, because I was a baseball player. So the Louisville. When I think of Louisville, first thing come to mind is the Bats, Louisville Slugger. That's subconscious.
But I thought we were talking about Kentucky though.
I understand. I was just thinking about Louisville. Alfred mentioned Muhammad Ali.
Okay.
And I'm trying to think what could, if I think about Louisville, I swear it's gonna think of the Bats first. Me. Yeah. Now moving on.
And Jimmy, by the way, I like that part of the country. We cool. We get along. I like that part of the country. I'm just Louisville to Cincinnati. I was big up in that city that week, but keep going. Keep going.
Let your ass get stopped by one of them laws in between them two cities.
Hey, man, don't do me like that, man. Come on, man. Hey, let me tell you something. David Chappelle said something last night. The other night. I was watching this special again last night. He said, man, all black men, my heroes. All black people, my heroes. If you can live and survive through this stuff, you are a hero. And Jimmy, we got 16 seconds left. Take us to a break. Let me find out something good to play through the break.
Quick break, and we come right back. And coming up at the top of the hour, we're going to be joined. Great conversation. Our special guest today, University of Kansas assistant coach Jerrance Howard is going to join us, and that's going to be one hell of a combo. Get your questions ready. You guys hold back. We'll be back on the Chop Shop in a second with some more juicy topics.
So I say this with love to the Grammys. Because you really need to know this. Every year, y'all be killing us, man. Man, I'm talking about the pain. I'm speaking for all the artists here, the producers, the executives, the amount of time that it takes to make these records, to pour your heart out into it, and you just want an even playing field. In the great words of Erykah Badu, we are artists and we are sensitive about our shit. We are passionate. For most of us, this is all we got. This is our only hope. Truth be told, hip-hop has never been respected by the Grammys. Black music has never been respected by the Grammys to the point that it should be. So right now, in this current situation, it's not a revelation. This thing been going on. And it's not just going on in music, it's going on in film, it's going on in sports, it's going on around the world. And for years, we've allowed institutions that have never had our best interests at heart to judge us. And that stops right now.
Man, I honestly never pictured this moment with my father being here for the first time. And I'm just so happy that he was here for this moment. It means so much for me to see him in the crowd. It just means a lot to me, knowing that he was here and that I could do this in this special moment. I never pictured this. I never pictured him being in the crowd, cheering me on and things like that this far in my life. But he's here, and I'm just so happy that he's here.
That's good. That's good.
Welcome back to the best 120 minutes of your day. The Chop Shop, the nation's #1 urban sports talk show, and also your midday happy hour. Yours truly, Robert Hatter, and everybody don't have a chance to sit and say they on the show with a legend. But guess what? Every day I get a chance to suit it up with a legend, the cheat sheet, every single day. And I know y'all be saying, hey, but let me tell you something. Let me tell you something. It's so funny. We go through life and just sometimes a prophet is without honor in his own hometown. That's biblical. They was just talking about how, Jesus, how they thought about Jesus. That Jesus down the street. Oh, that's Mary and Joseph's son. That's just Jesus. And sometimes we don't understand the people that we have in our midst of powerful black men that happen to be examples of guess what? Not always the greatest things happen. It have ups and downs in life, but triumph and got over some rough periods in our life, and now we're able to go and be on around the world. We're talking to people around the world today, and Jimmy, you know how I feel, but it's just a pleasure just being on the show with a legend every day. So I just wanted to let you share that with you. What else you got?
That, man. Well received. And what we're gonna do for you guys? We got a surprise in about 4 minutes. First, we got one topic. I just couldn't. I can't wait to share this first topic with you guys.
Come on with it, Cleveland.
And the first one is, did you guys not notice that? Remember, I warned you that we're gonna talk a little baseball with the Peel, and they're at the impasse right now. And I hopefully they can get this thing solved. But at the same time, hope the players, the association, don't fall for the okie doke in the midst of returning to the field, to the diamond. But Heather, remember I said the Yankees, be careful how everybody sit there and laugh at the Astros on this cheating stuff. You laughed at the Astros. Boy, they made a mockery of them Astros, and I told you.
I'm still laughing.
And I told you, just hold tight. This stuff ain't over. Because Astros are gonna go out like Nino Brown on this thing. You keep laughing, we're gonna get up in the middle of the courtroom and just like, you know what? He did it. The New York Yankees, in case you didn't know, they are fighting like hell. It's a letter that was put together that allegedly details some of the Yankees cheating in the 2017 season. Major League Baseball had denied that this existed. Now it's about to be released. And just yesterday, the Yankees filed an injunction to appeal the unsealing of this document. Some people have, for it to be sealed, that means people had to have read it to seal it. So the word has got out. There's no secret that the Yankees, like I say, are fighting like hell. But this is what I want to tell you guys. In media, there are certain, always, let me give you some homework. Always watch the time of the release of the story. How to guess what time that Yankees news was released?
What time?
I thought you never asked. The Yankees news was released Friday at 11:57 p.m. Eastern time.
What's the significance of that?
Your day is over. There's no sports live shows there that's running that's going to talk about it. That means it goes into the weekend. It fizzles on out over the weekend, and you're not getting the same backlash as a story that's released in the morning when they normally release stuff around 11 or 12 o'clock. a.m. Seriously. I mean, I learned this stuff, little bitty things we learn every day. And they released this Yankees news at 11:57 p.m. Okay. And they're fighting like hell to not get this thing unsealed. But anyway, that's enough of that. How about go over to, you spoke of Iowa earlier, and it made me think about some news that happened right down the street from Iowa State over in Des Moines, which is the capital of Iowa, I think, unless that teacher.
No, it's another one. I thought it was Des Moines. It's another one, I think. Something else. I forgot.
You know what? I don't put it past it because I'm learning right now, especially my history teachers. I'm going to look all of them up and I'm going to see if they live, and I want to have a talk with them. That's another whole conversation. A lot of them have lied to me about a lot of stuff in my history book. So I wouldn't know. They might have lied about this. I don't know. Not Kanye or Kyrie, the world might be flat. No, I ain't going that forward. But how about this? There was a student named Nathaniel Miller, right? He's a student at Drake.
Okay.
He was accidentally shot in the head by a student athlete, basketball player from Texas. The coach got to the scene before the police officer arrived and according to the report, told the basketball player to say, you ain't had nothing to do with this. Basketball player follows the coach's advice, tells the police, man, I don't know, he slipped and fell down, bumped his head on the concrete, on the slab. So the kid goes, this is Nathaniel Miller. This is the story. Now he's bleeding. He don't realize what they're telling the police at the time. So he's fighting it. Well, he sued the school and the people involved, the young man, the coach, and everything, right? He sued them. The young guy the basketball player pleaded guilty to some misdemeanors, because if you get arrested and charged with shooting this guy, that's going to be anything from attempted murder to aggravated assault to unlawfully carrying a weapon, or carrying a weapon on school property. It could be all this stuff. He pled guilty to misdemeanor counts of making false reports to the enforcement. He was suspended for only 5 games. The coach, understand this, my point is this. This coach, and I'm quite sure he's not the first and not the last to try to come and recreate the crime scene. Parents, you must be able to improve your ability to detect these people that are coming into your living room and start asking the right questions instead of getting caught up in the glamour in some of the schools. A lot of people.
Jimmy, how would they know? What questions I'm gonna ask a coach? They say, Coach, if my son commits shoots a guy in the head, are you gonna try to cover it up? Is you saying that's what I should ask a parent?
No,
I mean, ask a coach.
Because you're insinuating that your son might be one capable of shooting, likely to shoot somebody in the head.
So how would a parent discern that? How would a parent? I mean, because you gave out a mandate, parents. We got to watch who comes in our house, and you got to. But how would she know?
Well, it's deeper than just that instance. I was segueing into into parents and home visits.
Okay.
And
All right.
and being able
Okay.
or parents and
Okay.
relationship,
Okay.
not necessarily that,
Okay.
but I mean, damn, the coach probably just thought he was trying to do what he could to protect this dude, right?
No,
But if
Jimmy.
a pistol, if a firearm is involved,
Jimmy,
if a firearm involved,
it's a right way to do wrong, Jimmy.
that sounds like one of them Keith Sweat songs, huh? Boy, you take me back to them days. Keith Sweat. What's a Keith Sweat day? Hey, to all my white folks out there watching right now, just Google Keith Sweat. Y'all will understand some culture stuff. Y'all need to learn as much as you can about our culture during this month. I'm telling you, because we got Juneteenth in a few days. I'm telling you, it's going to be popping. So please, but speaking of coaches
Kim
and
just gave
how
us,
you,
Kim just gave it to us. Kim said, ask the coach, what is the process and policy if my son gets in trouble? But we can know the process, we can know the policy, we can know all of that, Kim. But guess what? Get what the coach gonna say? Well, this, and that still might happen. I just don't understand nobody covering up no shooting, Jimmy. That's it. That's a hard one right there.
well, what we do is, and the thing is, like I say, that part is one, but speaking of like visits and questions that you guys can ask, we'll bring in our guests a little early right now. Just to ask some questions to provide you guys with some questions that can help you equip yourself. That's a good one, Kim. Great one.
Great one.
About and that's one way to put. What is the process and the policy if my son gets in trouble? Great, but we're gonna bring Jerrance Howard. He's the assistant men's basketball coach at Kansas. Yes, the Jayhawks. And he's live with us on the Chop Shop right now, suited and booted, and we'll just toss it right to you. Hey, what's going on, boss?
What's going on? Thanks for having me, fellas. What's going on?
What's up, Coach? Hey,
I've
Coach.
been waiting for this. I made it. I told my mom I woke up. I said, Mom, I made it. I'm on the Chop Shop. I'm on the Chop Shop. I'm
Hey,
live, man.
Coach, I love you, Coach. Coach, you got to understand, Coach. Let me tell you something. Whenever I go somewhere and I'm somewhere and I need some help, I want you with me, Doc. You ain't gonna let nobody get to the principal. Coach, Coach, you was sharp, Coach, you had your tailor-made suit on, and you was directing traffic. But hey, shout out to Coach Jerrance Howard today, man. Coach, that's so etched in my mind for the rest of my career. Me and you, man, when this virus is over, we riding together. We going somewhere.
I'm with you.
Jim, what you got, Jim?
Yeah. And we're going to ask some of the questions. We're just in dealing with visits, because you've been in many living rooms. You've hosted many parents on campus, and a lot of people you notice may ask the same assortment of questions, and you guys not realizing you deal with these questions every week. They get to ask the question in person maybe once, maybe 5 times a year. There's different coaches. Right. So that means the advantage in the expertise leans in way heavily in favor of a college coach. What are a couple of questions that a parent can ask a coach that will probably put him on the spot or make him have to really think, that would be outside of the norm, but very good question to ask?
Well, first, I appreciate you guys for having me. I was talking to Rob earlier. If I'm not watching it live, I'm watching it late at night. And it brings me back to, going to the barbershop. I grew up in the barbershop, and to hear you guys talk about our culture, talk about basketball, you get coaches on here. I've learned, from other coaches being on here, and just for you guys to have this platform and how you're using it, I applaud you guys, and I appreciate you having me on the coach. But get back to the swing of things with the question is, I think now with society and what's going on now, you're going to have to ask some real life questions before you even get to basketball. You're going to have to ask, is my son safe on that campus dealing with the police? And what's some incidents or some examples that you've had in the past dealing with the police officers, or dealing with the police, university police, and I think it's a time for us to talk about it. It's a time for us to use this platform to share our thoughts and concerns. And I'm looking forward to going to these homes and bringing these families on visits. And you talk about you could say Black families, because I looked up today, 80% of the student athletes are African American, and it goes to show you where there's need for more Black presidents, more Black ADs, and more Black head coaches. And that's a whole other conversation. But I think when you sit down and talk to these coaches, that needs to be your thoughts about you kind of don't want to get into religion and politics, but now in society, politics and the social justice and racism exists, and it's out there. So now people actually feel comfortable talking about it, and I think it's a great time to talk about it now.
Jimmy, that's a good time, because we gotta go to a break. Jerris, I love that. And Jimmy, take us to a break. And I got something for you.
We go to break. Shout out to Rodney Terry, head coach at UTEP, live in the boom right now, and a lot of other coaches right there. We come right back, and I'm gonna give for that answer, I'm gonna give you a formal introduction when we come back on the Chop Shop. I'm gonna bring you on in, so you get ready. We can roll out the carpet, baby. I got it coming for you. Chop Shop, be right back.
Something terrible happened here, and for decades, people didn't talk about it.
I was an adult before I ever heard about it. It was something that was hidden.
This entire historic community was obliterated.
Bodies dumped in rivers, bodies dumped in mass graves. It was an absolute massacre.
This story isn't one you'll find in most history books. And almost 100 years later, the facts of what exactly happened that day are still unraveling.
So we're driving in what's known as Black Wall Street. It's where one of the nation's worst episodes of racial violence took place.
In 1921, a neighborhood in Tulsa, Oklahoma called the Greenwood District was a bustling community of Black-owned businesses. Tulsa locals know that period of Greenwood's history as a kind of golden age.
If you can imagine just like an old-time downtown, things like movie theaters, pharmacies, hair salons, and so forth.
They called it Black Wall Street.
It was a mecca. It was a huge success.
But Black Wall Street was also an anomaly. It thrived at a time when the KKK was incredibly active in Oklahoma, and the nation had just been through the Red Summer of 1919, when white mobs murdered Black people in dozens of incidents across the U.S.
There needed to be a sort of match or an igniter tossed on these embers. And that trigger event was an incident that involved two teenagers, Dick Rowland, 19-year-old Black boy who shined shoes downtown, Sarah Page, 17-year-old white girl who ran an elevator in a downtown building called the Drexel Building. He went to the building, boarded the elevator.
Welcome back to the best 120 minutes of your day. The Chop Shop, the nation's #1 urban sports talk show, and also your midday sports happy hour. Yours truly, Robert Hatter, alongside Jim Hicks, with our special guest, assistant coach Jerris Howard from the Kansas Jayhawks is in the building. Yes, Rock Talk Jayhawk is in the building today. What's going on, man? Jimmy, Jimmy? Jerris hit us with an uppercut, and then just, we had to go to a break. So you want to rehash a little that, because we might have people joining the show now. Jerris, as much as we believe, I found out that people don't watch us for two straight hours in a row. They watch us in blocks. They go back in. So sometimes we have to rehash things. So Jimmy, what you got? What you got for me?
I know one thing. We was talking earlier about 2 segments ago about what's the first thing come to your mind when you think of certain cities. Some people we ask, what do you think first thing come to your mind when you think about Kentucky? Some people ask, what first thing come to your mind when you think about Louisville? Some people said Muhammad Ali, Louisville Slugger, bourbon, moonshine, Kentucky Derby, certain things. Well, over in Illinois, I already know what you gonna think. And I'll ask you, what's the first thing that come to mind when I mention Peoria, Illinois?
Richard Pryor.
See, I know it. All y'all. That's why I know you're different from me.
I was born and raised in Peoria, Illinois.
I think of Peoria, Illinois.
Yeah.
It ain't Tricky Rich. It's Jarvis Howard. Jarvis Howard is the first thing come to mind when I think of Peoria, Illinois. I know, because I know if I ever get old back in Peoria, Illinois, it's a domino shack. It's something waiting on me to get there. 3 old men up under the old tree. It's a corner store where I might, you know what? I might go back and grab me a 40 ounce if I ever get back to Peoria, Illinois. That's just how I would feel if I ever step foot up in Peoria. And that is, hey, this young coach, I met him back in the days, about a year or two into starting RCS Sports. He was over there with on the roster with Illinois with D. Will.
Yeah.
D. Brown. Remember that team that made that noise.
Luther Head. He was in Houston. That's where we got to know each other really well.
And back then, the legend, I was just creating the living, guys, you gotta understand. A lot of people may not know because I didn't calm down.
No, don't tell everybody. No. We're on TV now. Don't tell everybody.
I would see him at Papa Do's.
Yeah, we ain't talking about that. I was good. I'm talking about how, I was like Diddy in my city.
Yeah.
But now I go to bed after the news go off almost now. So, but we're gonna keep asking some questions, and during the break, they presented questions for you already, and we'll go over to the YouTube feed and first, and we see. Remember, they say, what's the number one question that is asked in the home visit, and what question is under asked the most?
Good question.
That's a great question. I would say nowadays everybody wants to be one and done. So these kids, whether you 75th in the country or 200 in the country or number 1 in the country, how can my son get to the league the quickest? So that's number one. And I think what's underrated is I think that the development. I think working for Coach Self and our staff and being here, we take pride in developing our kids. You look at Frank Mason, who was he was committed to Townsend, no disrespect to Townsend, but he comes here and ended up being the National Player of the Year as a guy that wasn't even ranked or recruited really high. Devontae Graham, who was one of the best, most improved guys in the NBA, he wasn't highly recruited, and he was an All-American and Big Ten player. So I think people need to really find out and ask these coaches, how is my kid going to get better on the court and off the court?
And
I got one.
What you got, Adam?
Jimmy. So what is your favorite FCC-friendly hometown Richard Pryor story that most of the general public probably was not aware of?
So that's a great question. My grandmother, my Uncle Emmett, hung out with Richard Pryor.
Oh, Lord.
What's her name again?
No, Uncle Emmett.
Oh, Uncle Emmett?
Yeah.
Yeah.
What's her name?
Uncle Emmett hung out with Richard Pryor, and they always used to.
I know Uncle Emmett couldn't pass no piss test, could he? Okay.
None of my uncles could.
Okay.
But my grandma used to always tell us how he was the skinniest kid, but when he came there, he would eat 10 pieces of chicken, catfish, whatever she had. That boy ate like he was 200-300 pounds. So that's one thing inside I always try to tell people, that my grandmother actually fed Richard Pryor, and he hung out with my uncle and ran the streets of Peoria with my uncle. And he was a bad boy. Still, to me, him and Martin Lawrence and Cedric Entertainer, that's my top 3 right there.
That's a good 3. That's a great 3.
Another question that going backwards, because I want to get this in from off one of the platforms. Guys, mind you, we're streaming live Facebook and YouTube. If you're on YouTube, be sure to give us a thumbs up. And if you're on Facebook, if you would be so kind to share the show right now to your platforms, your timeline, to your groups, your friends, just share the show so that some of your friends and followers can get a glimpse in some of these nuggets that Coach Howard is dropping and about to continue to drop during our convo. And next question is, as coaches, what are you guys are you guys planning on doing anything different during the pandemic as you approach home visits? Because now, You gonna wear your mask on home visits? You gonna wear your mask on campus? I mean,
I not go. Period. I just do it virtually.
Yeah.
Well, for me personally, you got to go. There's something about when you, as a staff, and you bring your boss and your head coach, and you know how like it is with us. It's something that means something that's to it when you invite somebody to your house. Now I got some tricks under my sleeve. I'm gonna throw a bone out there to these college.
Okay, give us a bone. Give
them a bone.
Because I'm proud of my staff, and I'm proud to work for my boss, and I like to show off my boss. So we going into them homes, but we going into the backyard. Why not have a little barbecue? Now you can do your social distance. You can have your same presentation, but outside, but more in a family atmosphere. Like, to me, now is not a time to lay back and say, oh, we can't do this or we can't do that. Now it's the time to be creative and think outside the box. And if it's the number 1 player in the country, the number 5 player in the country, and a player that can come and change, you got to figure it out. You got to find a way where you got to relate to that kid and relate to their family, and because this don't work. These Zooms, the Zoom conversation, they're tired of it. They doing 5 or 6 of them a week, and so to get in front of them, to meet the grandmother and to meet the high school coach and put a face with names, to me that's important. And I'm a people person. I think you can make all these excuses about the pandemic and what you can't do. I think it's just another way you can find ways to be creative and think outside the box to separate yourself from everybody else.
Awesome. I have one.
Let's ask, what other attributes does Kansas look for in their recruits?
Well, like for me, I'm old school, and I think that's why I kind of, I'm the youngest of 6, so I've been around this game since I was, 4 years old. And I like to watch people, and Jimmy will know because Jimmy be at them games. I like to watch warm-ups. I like to watch the kids from the time they get off that bus. I'll stay in the foyer just to peep, just to sit back and see his mannerisms, his mindset. Is he goofing around, or is he stretching or getting ready for the game? Then how he is warming up. Then Coach Shelton always says that you want to see a kid play at the highest level. You want to see him play just okay, and then you want to see him play really, really bad because you could get a really good feel. And kids play bad. I want to see kids play and not score the basketball. To me, if you're a bad boy, I know you're going to better score the basketball. But Kelly Oubre from Houston, the reason why I like Kelly, dog. And everybody can say what they want, but he was an intangible guy. He impacted the game. Marcus Garrett was National Defense Player of the Year, averaged 8 points. He was one of the most important players on the team because he impacted the game without scoring the basketball. When you can't shoot and you're not scoring the ball and you still one of the best players, you a bad boy. Them the ones I want. And them the ones I look for is those tangible things because at our level, we're recruiting everybody that can put the ball in the hole or got some type of gift. But I want to see how grimy you are. Can you guard? Will you dive on the floor? If you're a good teammate? And this is my number 1 thing. Are you coachable? Because kids do not want to be coached nowadays.
Oh, I got another one, Coach.
That's my biggest pet peeve. Let me do my job. I'm not benefiting you. I'm cheating you if I can't help you.
Say it with your chest.
I like that one, Coach. Coach, I thought
about this. I get a little excited about this. I apologize.
I got one for you, Coach. Yeah. What is the biggest thing coaches wish freshmen knew before they hit college that they are tired of teaching? I mean, like you saying.
No, I know exactly what you're saying.
Okay.
We always say, as freshmen, come in and know that you don't know. We don't like them freshmen come in, I know this, I know that. No, this big boy basketball. We on national TV, 16,300 every day and playing the best of the best. We don't do it like that. We not switching no cross screens. We not switching man to man, so don't come in thinking you know everything. We always say the freshmen that play early are the ones that come in are like a sponge and that they know that they don't know. And it sounds cliche, but it's perfect because kids come in and this is where you got to be careful when you recruit them. You kiss their butt. You kiss their butt the whole 6 months in a year. Then when they get here, now you trying to, it got to be a balance where that kid got to feel like he can trust you before you can help him.
Wait a minute, Coach. You say y'all ain't switching on no ball screen. So y'all going straight, you going under or over the top on the screen?
Depending on personnel. That's a good question. And that's another thing that these high schools, kids and parents need to know. Our scouting report is detailed. The reason why we won the Big 12 15 out of 14 years, 14 out of 15 years is because of our scouting report. On the right side, we may trap you. On the left side, on the ball screen, we may go under and get back to you. So you got to be in tune on what we're doing because depending on the time, score, momentum, and the personnel, we're going to guard you different. And you got to know that. You got to make those adjustments.
Well, Jimmy, we got a minute left. What you going to do? What you got?
Well, as we go into the break, I'm gonna ask you one quick question that's gonna probably hit Haller right in the stomach.
Hit me.
He said,
I
love y'all.
I know you weren't at Kansas at this time, but I know you know the history.
Yeah.
Final Four.
Oh.
Haller with the Memphis. Haller with the Memphis, right? Memphis and the Jayhawks at the Final Four. I'm right there courtside.
I was there.
Tell him, remind Haller what happened when Chalmers got that ball.
Well, it's still one of it's the greatest shot in Kansas basketball history. And there's no way that you hear all the stories, all the Kansas people, there's no way we thought we were going to win. I think down 12 or 15, and I'm a big D Rose fan. He missed 2 free throws.
Yeah.
Another Chicago native.
Yeah.
Did he choke?
Yeah.
He just missed his shot. That's my people. I can't say.
But pause it right there. We got to go to a quick break. We come right back on the Chop Shop. We got Coach Howard, guys. Have your questions waiting. We'll be right back in a second.
The use of force against peaceful protesters is exactly connected to this legacy of slavery and of the massacre. The first shot rings off, and it's a white casualty as he tried to disarm a black veteran. And then that's when the chaos broke out. And so over time through the night, shooting and killing through the morning, where the governor declared martial law and National Guard troops descend in addition to local law enforcement and began to take Black people out of their homes and round them up into internment camps. And that facilitated the destruction and burning of the Greenwood neighborhood.
Welcome back to the Chop Shop, your midday sports happy hour. We are officially on the back nine. And indeed, we are the best 120 minutes of your day. Make sure you spread the word about the Chop Shop. It is not your normal type of sports talk show. It's been around for a while, and there's no other platform where college coaches will be able to get this much burn, and also be able to interact and answer your questions live. That's the thing about it. Understand this. You got a question, you want to toss it to coach, put it on one of the platforms, on the YouTube or the Facebook, and we will do our best to get to those questions. And guess what? And that's what this is about. But you got to help us to be able to help you, and that is increase our footprint, our digital footprint, that is, and simply by sharing the show to your timelines or your friends, on either way you are. Let people know. Just copy and paste the link to somebody. Just let them know. Everybody, you have basketball. Stop being stingy. He just told you, don't act like you know it all. Let some of your people come on in. They're gonna be happy about it. How about this? We go over to the YouTube feed, and Coach and Tim asked, what do you think of J.D. Davidson?
Well, I can't talk about.
Hold on. Let me pause you right there.
All right.
Tim, and I said remember we can ask stuff consciously and subconsciously.
Yeah.
NCAA rules prevent all college coaches of the Division I stature from commenting on prospects who have yet to sign a letter of intent. So that's my bad for tossing that question. But at the same time, it's a teachable moment for Tim, because one thing you probably did and he probably did not know. So Tim, you just learned. That's why a lot of times you might see coaches they can't, they shy away from saying a kid's name, but at the same time, because some people get confused, they say, well, hell, he just said Kelly Oubre name. He just said a couple other players. Like, well, those guys have already signed letters of intent and gone on about their business. But so that's the thing. So everybody out there, I mean, a little bit of thing. We'd be surprised when people don't really understand about the rules.
And Jimmy,
so,
I got a question. Since we're here, why is that rule in place?
Oh, I mean, just think about it. Let's use Joe Smith as an example. If Coach K or Bill Self or Calipari or anybody, they could use that to an advantage. If you got Coach Self saying, Joe Smith, name, it's just an advantage, and it's not a fair level playing field if college coaches could personally talk about a recruit without signing.
You got that, Alan?
It'd be crazy. It'd be all kind of stuff. Recruiting from that standpoint for more personal. Back in the day when I came out, like I went to an official visit to Missouri, and my name was on the back of the jersey. I had the whole deal. In a jumbo system, jumbotron, and everything was personalized. But you can't do that anymore.
Wow, that's right. That's good.
And the size of your mail has been I guess modified as well, because guys used to be able to send as many pieces of mail and as big as you want. And guess what? One of them schools, the schools that he went to, they help break that rule or get that rule modified. Am I right?
No comment.
I love it.
But that's a good point, because when I worked for Billy Gillespie and Buzz Williams and Alvin Brooks, we used to send 100 letters. I used to be in the dorms writing 100 letters out to Donald Sloan and to Derek Rowland or Marcella Summerfield or DeAndre Jordan. They was getting 100 from Texas A&M every week. And that was just a way we separate ourselves from other schools. But now with technology, everything is done, through Instagram and social media now, with graphics, so, the mail, I still like to write letters. That's one thing I picked up from Buzz Williams, who's the head coach at Texas A&M, especially them old school, grandmothers and old school coaches and moms and dad. They like to see, get mail and see that you took the time out and wrote them a handwritten letter.
And James, I would like to since last night was a unique night, last night at 12 o'clock, tell me what unique thing that happened that you can talk about, y'all text, because I've been seeing some unique texts, the players showing, I mean, you colleges, I just love how y'all doing this. And if I just imagine me being a young 17, 16-year-old kid in Kansas, send me a text like some of these kids I saw their text last night. Tell me about that. What's unique that you can talk about? What's the uniqueness of that?
Well, for me personally, I'm glad you brought that up, because at 12:01, 11:50, I had my list of guys that I knew was going to be up, and some people are different, but I hit some of the guys that I knew was going to be up playing Fortnite or playing the video games. So. And then have coach call him on the back end. But I think it's unique because, one, you've been watching this kid ever since, going into his 8th grade year, into his freshman year, and you talk to him and, going to his high school. But now you get to develop that personal relationship. Now you can initiate the conversation and initiate the contact, and you can really find out what coaches want you. If you don't hear from them in the next couple of days, you ain't that important. That's the way it is.
Hold on, say that again now. Say that again.
I'm gonna mute you on that one. I'm gonna mute that.
No, that's real. And I would say that to anybody, just being a parent, if schools are not showing interest, right now, and things could change, but you should really know right now as a staff who you like and who you don't like and who you want to go after. Now, somebody may get hot or get better, or a kid may go here, but your main core group of guys, especially young guys, who you like and who you don't.
Hey, boy, you know what? I love it, because sometimes the music sounds better coming from a different set of speakers. And once again, Coach Howard is just dropping nuggets and answering questions that to help many of you guys further understand just how the recruiting go. Now understand, he's at Kansas, and they're at the top shelf when it comes to basketball and recruiting in the United States.
Yes,
for example, my next two questions will help prove what type of shelf they on. You know, you go in the bar and you look up there, there's stuff that has dust all over. They one of them bottles way up there that nobody ordering out of. Well, have them order them bottles up there.
I ain't messing with them bottles.
Unless
it's some champagne, some champagne.
Now, here's my first question. Explain to the audience what is a blue blood, right? And also, next question is, in the past 5 years, that makes it easy for you.
Right.
How many players have Kansas signed to men's basketball that were not ranked in the top 100 in the United States?
Sean, what the first question was, what did you say again?
What is a blue blood?
Blue blood. Well, blue blood has to do with tradition, winning, really winning the tradition. And you think about a blue blood, I would say, of course, us, Kansas, Duke, Kentucky, North Carolina, UCLA, and you probably could throw Indiana in there. Mm-hmm. So those are the six blue bloods from over time, from start to finish, that has history and tradition and has, won at a high level from start to finish. And I think, when you start talking about a blue blood, you start talking about the networking afterwards, going to the NCAA tournament. Now, I know it's been schools where we fight for our life to get into the NCAA tournament. And since I've been here, we've been the number one seed, 6 years. You know what I mean? So you put yourself, you set yourself up if you work hard and to be successful. I mean, you don't have to go to a blue blood to be successful, but just over time, the history and the tradition is proven that if you go here and you take care of business, you could be successful on and off the court.
Hey, James, I got one.
No, let me ask the other part of the question now.
Okay, come on.
The other part of the question
was, my bad. Yeah.
How many non-ranked players have you guys signed in the past 5 years at Kansas that was not ranked in the top 100 or 150 in the country?
That's a good question. See, what happens is they're not ranking in 100, but as soon as they sign with Kansas, people put them in the top 100.
But I mean, period. I mean, still
for about five.
About five in 5 years. So that's one per year.
I say about four, because it's not one per year. It's less than one a year.
Once again, the question I asked, guys, so I won't confuse you. I asked Coach Howard, how many players at Kansas in the past 5 years have they signed that was not ranked nationally, right, before they got on campus? So he says about approximately 4. Understand this. Most schools are happy to get one player that's ranked in the top 100. They're not looking. So does that mean that most players, they have to be a certain status already, or do you wait and try to find a diamond under the rock? Or do you kind of just go and use a lot of the USA Basketball, a lot of the ESPN Rivals, 24/7? Do they benefit and help curtail the pool of prospects for you guys?
I think what makes a good recruiter, if you really in the streets and you really working and you grinding, I think you use all of those. I think you use every aspect of recruiting, from websites to people who, from USA Basketball to people who, I got a cousin who don't miss no games in Peoria. He calling me every Friday night and giving me the rundown on, who did what freshman is going to be good. So you always having your ears to the street, and you have these relationships that you built over the years and people that you trust where you value their opinion. But I tell you this is that you can't get caught up in the rankings, but on the flip side, if you're not in the top 100, it's something that you're not doing. Because it's too much exposure and too many people out there for you to be good and not a college coach not know about you. There's something wrong if you're good and don't nobody know about you.
Coach, I got
about you, but eventually your basketball play is going to speak loud enough where this is what we do for a living. We always looking for those diamonds in the rough.
Coach, I hate to ask this question because we got 2 minutes left, but if we overdo it, we'll go into the next segment with it. But it's a mom. She asks, Akisa Stewart asks, so what's the point in reaching out if coaches know in the back of their mind that they won't contact that player again? And then on her part two, it seemed like it's a waste of time on both parts. Players get excited to hear from a school, then crickets.
That's a good question. I mean, but it's everybody, and this is why I get frustrated when people, you should try to share, if you've been through the recruiting process, you should try to share your personal, what you went through in general. Everybody different. Your son situation is different than my son. Mm-hmm. So what I tell you, you can't take that. You could, keep in the back of your head and use it as resources and to go back to, but everybody's different. But what I would say is that sometimes it's crickets, but it's that last day of the sign, you need to keep it open because people get hurt, people go to the draft, mm-hmm. people transfer, mm-hmm. people don't get picked up where they thought they was gonna go. So always leave the door open for communication. Sometimes it's frustrating because my big thing as a recruiter, I don't like to waste time. Mm-hmm. If I know you're not good enough or I know you want to go here, I'm gonna move around. But that's just me. And sometimes I moved around too quick and lost out. So my thing is always leave the door open for communication. Never get discouraged because recruiting changes every day. Every day.
And Coach, so don't take it personal.
Don't take it personal. Don't take it. You can't. You can't take it personal. I had to learn that because I'm an emotional person. When somebody tell me no, why? No, let me come back down there. You know what I mean? So you can't take it personally.
Quick break, Jimmy. Quick break. We come back to that one. Put that, Jimmy, hold that thought because I see you got something. Let's hold that one. Chop, chop. We'll be back in a minute.
I was driving and a cop was speeding behind me, so I merged to the right to let him by, but he was still directly behind me. Come to find out, it's me he was in a hurry to get to. Lucky me. I went from cruising on a sunny day, talking to my mom and sisters, to being pinned down to the ground with knees in my back because I wouldn't act right. I wouldn't sound soft and soothing about being hurt. I wouldn't act right. How am I supposed to act when I'm being cornered in an unjust legal matter and there's absolutely nothing that I can do about it? How should I respond to being pulled over without reason? How should I respond to a ticket that I can't afford? The truth is, I've been acting right my whole life. I was a college graduate. I was starting a new job that following Monday. And I was part of a sorority rooted in scholarship and sisterhood. Seems like acting right to me. I drove to Texas with possibilities in my eyes. Death was nowhere in sight. Until the wrong blue eyes see your brown skin. Then life as you know it is no more. My heart was filled with a dream. I had joy, hope inside of me. And my body arrived back at my hometown at the morgue. My mother identified my body, but that wasn't me. No dream, no joy, no hope, no job. That wasn't me. They tried to say I was an angry black woman.
Welcome back to the Chop Shop, your midday sports happy hour, the best 120 minutes of your day. This is a great convo today with Jerrance Howard. He's assistant coach at Kansas, Rock Chalk Jayhawk. And before we get right back into it, explain to the people what the hell does Rock Chalk Jayhawk mean?
It's an old chant that was it's a piece of chalk, clay chalk that back in the 70s an old group of students found. and they called it just named it Rock Chalk, and it was catchy, and it stuck ever since. So when you hear that song Rock Chalk, that means we up 15 or 20. We about to hit the showers. So anytime we hear that Rock Chalk song, that's a good sign.
Okay. Have you ever sung that song? Well, let's get back into it.
Let's get back to Coach Akisa. I like when, hey, look, you got to realize, Jerris, when Mama speak on this Boom Boom Room, I'm gonna pay attention to it. And she said the door is open, but he said, saying you, Coach, said if a coach doesn't communicate after reaching out, then that means he's not serious. And I want you to just really kind of clean that up, because I know you didn't mean it that way. And I want you to just put a little amendment to it.
Well, it's our job, as I think, even whether it's marriage or recruiting, it has to be communication. And sometimes as recruiters, we move so fast and we on to the next one and, trying to get the next one and trying to beat out this person. We kind of, not making excuses, but the line of communication is not like it should be to the ones that you started recruiting that you may not think good enough or you don't think you can get, whatever the situation may be. But I think you still can't take it personal. I think you still need to hang in there because things happen. You don't want to say, hey, I'm mad at Kansas, and knowing your son want to go there from day one, but you got an attitude with the coach because he ain't called you in 2 weeks. But the scholarship and offer is still there. So you're going to let your pride get away from your school going to your kid going to his dream school. Now, and I've been in it, and you can't take it personal. You just gotta hang in there, and sometimes you gotta swallow your pride and continue to send stuff. It's guys where I sign where, I slow play them throughout the year, but then their dad or their coach is sending me stuff where this kid is getting better, averaging more points, and now you're like, I gotta go see him, and then you go down and see him, and then you sign him. So you can't take it personal. But on the flip side, we are humans, and you don't want to feel like you're doing too much, but I think it's that last day to sign, you leave that door open and you continue to reach out, even though if it's not 50-50.
But you know what? It's so unique, Jimmy. I can tell my personal, nothing like a personal experience. It was a time that it was when my son was recruiting, I knew where I wanted him to go to school. And it was a time that they stopped calling him. Right? And he was telling me, Daddy, this school ain't calling me to school. I said, okay, so guess what? I said, all right. So guess what? I went over to their rival. And the rival started calling him and his mom. And guess what the rival did? The rival, their main rival, sent for him and his mom on an official visit to come during the time that they were playing each other. I didn't come on the trip. See, James, hey, this a parent that played y'all this time. Hold on. So Jimmy, we playing the rival. Robert and his mom sitting right behind the bench of the rival. James Howard. This is the first time I knew that coaches had their phones in their pocket.
Yeah.
During the warm-ups, associate head coach called me and said, man, what's going on? What's going on? I said, what you mean what's going on? Man, it's Robert, him and his mom here. I said, Coach, I said, what you talking about, Coach? I said, Coach, you hadn't called him.
Right.
He said, hold on. He said, don't do nothing until you talk to me, please. After this game, I'm going to call you. Don't do nothing. And I sit there and said, parents, listen to me. That's all I did. I didn't get mad at him. Hold up. Mama was mad.
Right.
Maybe Robert was mad.
Right.
So I just said, okay. The rival came up there and said, hey, I got this. They was the red carpet and everything.
Yeah.
And you know what I did, Coach, because I like the coach. You know what I did, Jaron? I said, Coach, you didn't pay attention. He said, what you mean? Coach, I wasn't on the trip. If you know I wasn't on the trip, it wasn't serious. Why the hell? What you getting your drawers up in your bun for? I didn't come. That should have clicked in your head. I came to your school. I didn't come to that school. And he said, man, okay. Then he got, hold up. And guess what? He got to recruiting that mama. He got to recruiting that mama. So parents, I just wanted to, that's how it worked. Now, hold up now. If you don't have leverage like that, you might can't do that. But that's how I did it. And he wound up going to school that I wanted him to go to. So
that's interesting because we had a kid, Jalen Wilson, from Denton, Texas.
Yes.
A freshman. He in a red shirt because he got hurt. But it was between us and North Carolina.
Yes.
You know, I'm nervous. I'm a huge Michael Jordan fan, and the dad. I just talked to him this morning. That's my man, and he loved North Carolina. So, coach called me, said, "Man, a little nervous about this one." I said, "Dad, coach, the dad and son going. The mama not going. They not making no decision. One, I knew mama ran everything. Lisa, and everybody know she running that.
Absolutely.
I said, "Oh, we good." We good, coach. You can't get two. You just never know.
Yeah, you never know.
Until they go. But I felt good because that mama didn't go on that trip. And so there's no way that kid making a decision going to college without his mama approval. So that's interesting you brought that up.
Yes. Yes.
Now at Kansas, what do you, we're going back to some of the questions from the Boom Boom Room. I'm tossing a few of them to you.
Okay.
And one of them is, what do you think JUCO players, can they help your program? Do you guys recruit JUCO players?
Yes, we talk about this guy. We actually just signed the #1 JUCO prospect in the country, Tyon Grant Foster. And remember that name. I mean, he's a guard, 6'5", could do it all. And with JUCOs, I think you have to be selected because for us, and everybody's different because you got to hit the ground running. You only got 2 years, and there's no 4-year process. And I think with JUCOs, we like to recruit JUCO programs. And when I say that, is programs that have players and success over time where they come in ready to play and know how to play. So I think JUCOs, you got to get the right ones. And the one we got, coming in, we were expecting him to do big things. So I think we haven't had a JUCO though since Mario Little. So it's been about 10 years. So we rarely take them, but every program is different.
Good.
And another question is, somebody asked, some great players can't transition into coaching. So how was it easy for you to transition from player into coaching?
Well, just one, my love of the game. If you don't know my story, I went to the University of Illinois, and I didn't play a lot. I played behind Frank Williams, who was a first-round draft pick. D. Brown was the second-round draft pick. Luther Head was a draft pick, and then Darren Williams, my best friend, was a lottery pick. So, and I was by far not the greatest out of all of them. I mean, you talking about pros. So I wanted to still get the respect of my teammates and my staff, and I wanted to have a hand put on the program. So I wanted to just bring something to the table. So I started making sure guys, I pushed guys in practice. I didn't lose any sprints. I made sure I stayed with guys afterwards and before. So next thing you know, Coach Self was like, "Have you ever thought about coaching?" I'm like, "No, I'm trying to get to the league or go overseas at least, But I found my passion through adversity. And I tell a lot of people that, my whole life, ever since a little kid, I wanted to be a professional basketball player. But, what I went through at Illinois, which was the best thing for me in my life, was through that tough times where I didn't know if I was good enough. I said, man, this is my calling. And I really, really think, I was blessed to be a coach and put on this world to be a coach. Because as Larry Brown say, I haven't worked a day in my life. I'm still in money.
I got a good one. I like that one. With everyone having a train, this is from Melvin Dews on our YouTube page. He said, with everyone having a trainer these days, what skill is the most underdeveloped that you see that kids need to go work on when they get to you, by the time they get to you?
I think that's a great question, and I'm glad you brought that up because, and I'm dealing with my 11-year-old son and 12-year-old daughter, is eating right. And I have no room to talk,
Wow.
But I'm a coach, but a lot of kids, a lot of players, parents and coaches don't know how important it is for health, for what you eating and what you putting in your body. Everybody, all these high school players, which is good, is working out and, training, but how are you eating? Why are you working out twice a day and then you going to eat off, Taco Bell and McDonald's? It don't balance out. So we like to, get them with our nutritionists and get them on a program. And, we go to the grocery store with them. We have, meetings and conferences of what to eat and what not to eat. If you do go to the fast food spot, what to get there. Everybody has something healthy. So just the knowledge and the literature and how important it is to eat right. And I think people come in and they've been eating crazy their whole life. But once you get a plan, whether you need to gain weight or lose weight, I think that's really important that people don't look at it too.
So, Coach, you're saying eating right is a skill. That's what you're saying.
Eating right is a skill, and listening is a skill. Which people listening is a skill.
Coach,
1 minute, Jimmy.
You just encourage the families to cook a spread built for Amistad when you come for a home visit. Now you want them to eat right. Which one is it, Coach?
You got to have both.
Yeah.
You for me and my staff.
Cheat
you ain't
day.
A cheat day. Yeah. And we eat salads. There's some healthy stuff out there we can have a spread, but I don't want that though. I want barbecue ribs. I want some baked beans. I want some potato salad. When I come in, and everybody know when I come in, we want a soul food type of feel.
So before we go to break, we got what, 20 seconds or we there, Hannah?
You perfect. 20 seconds. 20 seconds.
Real quick, what parent made the best spread you ever ate at a home visit right now?
Ooh, that's a good one. David McCormick, our big
Really?
kid from Norfolk, Virginia. He from Norfolk, Virginia, and his grandmother, bless her soul, before she passed, and she was the reason why we got him, because the mama and sister was like, that's too far, but that grandma seen something in us, and she cooked. Not only, most people make a spread, but she made dessert. And then not only did she make dessert, she made me take it home. So I went from Norfolk to Kansas City with a cake, and I ate it all. But David McCormick by far. I mean, I'm talking about a spread. I mean, like Thanksgiving.
Hey man,
awesome.
You got me hungry as hell right now. I'm gonna go. Let's go to a quick break so I can sneak me a snack in here, and we come right back on the Chop Shop. You guys hold tight.
Hello, basketball community. This is Brian Jolivet with the Bubble Sports Hoops. I'd like to welcome all of you to the Houston National Summer Showcase, July 3rd, 4th, and 5th.
I just want to show love to my people.
Please visit our website at www.aboveallsportswithanS.com and register today. Attending the event will be Doug Jones with RCS Sports and Ball So Hard as our scouting agencies.
That was a deal breaker.
Oh, yes.
We have processes in place
got to
support social distancing and protect the
barber have to
athletes.
stay in the bubble?
Should you have any questions, feel free to give me a call, 281-414-8103.
The mother ones don't have
They got direct contact with your food.
They not, that's crazy.
We coming. Hold on, Jim. We coming. I got another commercial. Hold on a second. I know them people saying, what is going on?
Something terrible.
On the lawn of the courthouse, Dick Rowland was in jail on the top floor. A number of black men, several dozen, marched down to the courthouse to protect him, some of them armed. There was a struggle between one of the black men in the small group and one of the white men in the larger group.
Look at me, y'all. Welcome back to the best 120 minutes of your day. The Chop Shop, the nation's #1 urban sports talk show, and also your midday sports happy hour. Yours truly, Robert Hatter, alongside Jim Hicks. And we got, guess what? We got the Kansas Jayhawks, coach. Y'all, hold up. Big 12 Kansas, Big 12 champion of the year for so many years. Jerence Howard is in the. I don't know how many. I lost count, Jerence. I mean, it was a couple of years, Jerence. They talking about, well, somebody gonna, they're gonna see, they're gonna upset them this year. Somebody gonna beat them, and y'all always wind up winning. And unbelievable test of time and great. Okay, gotcha. And guess what? While we were on the break, I saw something on our text. Okay, I saw something. Stacey Houston in Dallas, talking about your fresh, how much your haircut costs, and you got a fresh edge up, and all of that kind of stuff. Man, if you want to comment, you can.
Well, shout out to my dear friend Stacy. That's like family.
Yeah.
He like you guys. Anytime I go to Dallas, I got to make sure I'm in tune with him and know what's going on. He good people. I know his family, and his family knows mine. So, but he know how much I like to get my haircut. But I think being a good recruiter, and you got to be presentable. You dealing with moms and teachers, and you got to be well groomed, and you teach your players that you don't want pants down and just looking sloppy. That's what I call it. And my players know 2 things to get you in trouble with me. If you lie to me, it's 3 things. If you lie to me, don't be on time, and then you looking sloppy. That's my 3 biggest pet peeves. Anything else we can work with, but I just think just being well groomed, especially when you're going into these homes and you're on TV a lot. All our games are on national TV, and as a young African American coach, to me, a lot of times those are interviews. ADs are watching, presidents and committees are watching, and we're on TV all the time. So as much as I joke about it and I stay in the barbershop, it's definitely a purpose behind it. But shout out to my boy Stacy.
And going back to speaking of the Boomer Room, we have more questions that are presented to you, and one is, as a recruiter, have you ever cut off a kid, a prospect, entirely due to their social media activity?
Most definitely.
And what happened, without saying any names, basically what happened and why?
That's a good question, because social media is a new thing and you can't judge everything, but there's some things that you just see that you just have to X out. And, because I'm all for, giving kids second chances. I'm all for not judging a book by its cover, but some things you can't expose yourself as a coach to bring these type of kids on campus if they're dealing with the type of people. It was a recruit where I really wanted him. He was a big time player, and I followed him on Snapchat, and he was in a hotel room with guns. Now, you can deal with a lot of other stuff, but when you're talking about ammunition and the type of guns they had, I couldn't risk that one. So I definitely, and I told his people I was up front, and I told, and it helped the kid because he realized that, people are watching. So it helped him for me in the long run, but just didn't help with my situation.
Jimmy?
It happens all the time, and it's far too often with a lot of these players out there. So somebody else has a question in there.
This is important to me.
Okay.
And this is my major turnoff for me. And I don't care how good you are. I shouldn't say that because you can work with kids, but
come on.
how you treat your mama and daddy and your high school coach, that shows it all. If you're not respecting me, if you can't respect your mom and your dad and respect them to hold you accountable, how as a coach you gonna do the same thing? So that's important too. I always look at, even after the games, how they interact with their mom, whether they win or lose. If they disrespectful, they're gonna be disrespectful to me, and I can't go. I'm a man. I'm a person first. That's my biggest pet peeve. Kids that I have a job to do, and I'm responsible. When I sit in at home and I sit across and tell your parents that I'm gonna hold you accountable. I'm gonna make sure that you're on time and that you're doing well academically and you're gonna get your degree. They hold that to me, and I'm not gonna be able to go get the next one if I don't do my job. So I take that personal. Just how you treat people in general, especially your mom and dad, you could get cut off my list easily.
Mine too.
Yeah. And tell me this: in recruiting players, right? Have you ever referred a player or tossed, do another coach a bone because that kid? You recruited him a little while and you realize, man, he's just not good enough for us.
All the time.
And I'm gonna give him, and you call one of your allies and say, hey man, you might want to take a look at this kid right here, man. You might close the deal. And then you just turn the whole case over to one of your buddies. Is that a common practice in coaching, or is that not done enough?
One, is not done enough, and 2, I think it's our job and we obligated to do that, especially as young coaches. It's why not? Why not help? I give my little circle, Alvin Brooks, Uric, and KT at SMU. Now, I can't do that with Alvin Brooks and Uric because they had Texas Tech and Baylor and they my conference. But when we was all over, hey, we're not going to get him. Heard what's called, not going to get him. You need to get in there. I don't think he's good enough, but he may be good enough for your level. So I think it doesn't happen enough. I think as young coaches and coaches, period, we need to do that and help each other out, and because it's for these kids who benefit at the end of the day.
I got a question. Jimmy, I got one. from somebody sent me this one. I guess they didn't want to put it on the thing. They asked him, what goes into your decision on offering kids before their junior year? Like they did some of the top kids around, right? Are waiting until their junior, are waiting until their official juniors, like several colleges offered yesterday. What goes into, you know how sometimes you offer a kid at a young age, in 9th grade, what goes into that? I think that's what she's trying to say.
Well, I always say I like to trust my eyes, and I like to put eyes on people, and I like for my boss to put eyes on prospect. But if it's an elite player that's special, young age, you gotta. I think it's important. You gotta let them know, one, we was first that seen the talent. Two, I think you could develop that personal relationship even more. But I think you have to do it now, because if we're Kansas and Duke and Kentucky offering this young kid, and we have an offer, we late to the party, as they say. And you don't want to be late to the party when you're going up against those other blue bloods. Okay. I'll give you a prime example. Jaleel Okafor. I was with Jill Okafor in 8th grade. I'm at the University of Illinois. I'm taking my boss to see a kid play in 8th grade. I'm going to 8th grade games because I knew this kid was going to be special. Got the job at Kansas. He's at Whitney Young. We talked every day. Closest kid I almost been to, him and Malik Newman. And I get the job. Oh, coach, we getting Jaleel Okafor. This is my guy. I've been recruiting since 8th grade, and it hit home to me. I'll never forget. It was a Friday night, and he clicked over. He said, "Hold on, coach, let me get this." And he clicked over. He never got off the phone with me, and he clicked back over and said, "Coach, I'm gonna call you right back." I'm like, "Man, she must look good. Like, where are you taking her tonight?" Just give him a hard time. Said, "No, coach, this is Coach K." And it's like something just hit me right in my gut. It was like, okay, this is real. Like, no matter how good your relationship is with somebody, a blue blood, or if a person like a school, and Coach K is Coach K. But I didn't come into the job cocky. I came in like, all right, I got the best. I got something to sell at a high level. I got one of the best coaches in the country. Is Kansas, where the game is invented.
Right.
We're to a conference. I'm going to get everybody. You can't tell me nothing.
Right.
But that conversation kind of brought me down, and it just hit me right in the face. Like, you got to roll your sleeves up, because you competing with the big boys.
And you definitely competing with the big boys. So you just mentioned the schools, and that's one of the questions somebody had in the Boom Boom Room was, which schools do you find, or which particular school would you find yourself having the most head-to-head battles with in recruiting? Which one that just really makes you want to turn your skillet all the way up? What school is it?
Kentucky and Duke.
They bring out the best in you.
Yeah. And it's supposed to be iron sharpens iron. That's how it's supposed to be. But from recruiting to playing, I mean, it's everything is judged.
But is it the school, or is it a certain coach on the staff that when you see him, you look at each other like, it's on? Which one?
No, it's a school.
It's school. It got to be.
It goes back to the blue blood, off the tradition and the history, the success of winning, and who got more wins in the program, who got more wins in the NCAA tournament. But there's one coach that I do look at and be like, you know what, I got to roll my sleeves up in recruiting and when we play him. And that's Tony Stubblefield at Oregon. When I see him,
sir,
they beat us in Kansas City to go to the Final Four 3 years ago with Frank Mason and Josh Jackson year. And anytime he recruits, because I call him an OG, he know everybody. He been in the game, he genuine, and there's certain people that make you want to, step your game up. And he's a guy I always looked up to. And but it's ever since they put us out in that Final Four, he texted me this morning though. But we got a great relationship. But he know that it ain't personal, but it is. But that's how it's supposed to be though.
I got a question. Somebody just brought this. I never thought about this one. But do y'all monitor the parents' social media?
Yes.
Is that a deal breaker?
That tells a lot about the dynamic in the family.
Wow.
If she's posting, and you can just tell, if she's commenting on every post he make, and feel like, certain things, maybe whether it's good or bad, but you definitely watch everything. And I'll give I'm throwing out a lot of nuggets on just
hey, Coach, you got a lot of coaches watching too. Coaches watching too, but keep going.
But on the flip side, we need to be like that. And that's one thing I learned from Larry Brown is that you have to share. Okay. You have to give back to the game. And, I call it boxing man. Okay. So if I'm recruiting Jimmy, I'm going to recruit you because I know that's his best friend. Right. I'm going to recruit his wife. I'm going to recruit his daughter. I'm going to recruit whoever he got a personal relationship with. And when I say personal relationship, and I'm talking about people he see and talk to on a daily basis, that's become my biggest recruit. Forget Jimmy. I'm recruiting them first. Now, when I box him in, now he ain't got no choice but to say, you know what? I can't go wrong with Coach Howard or Kansas. So that's been my philosophy is box him in and develop that personal relationship. Because if you don't develop no personal relationship with these kids and the people around them, you late to the party. We call it boo-boo the fool.
we called it that before you called it that back in the old days.
Hey, Coach, I got one more, Jimmy. I got a quick one, Jimmy. So do coaches? She said, do coaches do they offer after they see somebody else offer?
Oh, most definitely.
Okay,
we do that.
I got you. Okay,
yeah.
Okay,
we do that. Yeah. Especially if they come in our backyard.
Hold up. And then Trina Mouton said, why you said she? Why ain't you said about the dad? You didn't say that about the daddy. You said the she. You mentioned she. Because mama's usually the ones that does it, Trina. I said mama's usually the ones who.
That's one thing I learned as a recruiter. And this is not, oh my God, I'm giving you too much now. You young coaches, I found this too. Because the mama, and I learned this from Coach Brown and Coach Sub, the mama's got that kid heart. And every kid I'm recruit, so I'm calling her Mama Hicks. So now when I pick up the phone, I ain't got to say to Mama Hicks, or she hear my voice, Mama Hicks. Like, so it's just, but you have to develop that relationship first. You can't come off on the second conversation calling her mama. You know what I mean? Especially, with our people, you got to get that trust. But
yes, sir.
My recruits, mothers, call them mama because it means a little bit more. I think you separate yourself. And I like to call our kids, our players, by their nicknames. I think you get the best out of them. They register a little bit more. So just different things like that. And I think being in tune with your culture, being in tune with your players and your program and where they come from, you got to use all that to make them be successful and help them be successful.
And we're going into the break, but real quick.
Yet?
Real quick, Coach Howard. What white coach, assistant coach out there? You mentioned the head coaches, the coach. What white assistant coach would you say, or what two are the best recruiters that you saw out there in the game of our kids?
Josh Pastner is before. I mean, you go back to his AAU days. He's been recruiting at a high level when he was at the Houston Hoops, the teams that the players that he has. But Josh Pastner is a guy that I think still recruits like assistant coach, meaning he's doing all the day-to-day stuff. And I think I would say, to me, it's not even close. The baddest boy in the business from a head coach besides my boss is Buzz Williams. And I know I take it a little personal, but that if you're recruiting up against Buzz, you better work. You better work.
He's pretty.
You're not going to work. And I'm not saying that because I work for him. I've seen it, and I've seen it every day, and I've seen it, from afar. He's persistent and consistent.
Consistent. Indeed. You gotta write that down. We go to a quick break. Come back for our last segment, and we're gonna take a blast to the past with Coach Howard and take you back to the Chi-Town in his old days with the Illinois Warriors and all that stuff. We're gonna go back there and the dynamic and the fabric of Chicago grassroots basketball when we come back on the Chop Shop.
I'm glad.
Y'all better act like y'all love this go-go. Let's get this shit
Hey, say, boy, I'm getting my go-go on during the break on the Chop Shop. That's how we roll. I told you, I gave you guys the disclaimer. There's no sports talk show like this. And that's how we groove on the Chop Shop. Make sure you spread the word. If you're right now watching on either one of our social media platforms, live, YouTube and Facebook, make sure, YouTube people out there, I see you guys, Melvin News and our rest of the crew, Brandon Morris, give us a thumbs up. Facebook, I see you out there. I mean, so many new people that are watching right now from all over the country and the world it is. Make sure you take out the time to share this show. Share the show with your timelines and all your friends. And guess what? You never know who you can be helping out, because these are some great nuggets that Coach Howard is dropping today. And we're going to, before we get into going into taking you back to Chicago, we have a couple of things we're going to do. We're going to spit a few questions at you.
Okay.
And from the Boom Boom Room. And hopefully that way, you know, because I feel bad. So many questions from females, from ladies, and we got to get them out there. Here's one. What are some personal goals for you as far as coaching in the future? Do you want to be a head coach on the collegiate level, or are you good being an assistant right now?
No, I'm not. Even though I feel like I got one of the best jobs in the country, I'm ready to run my own program. I'm excited. I'm looking forward to it. Two things I've always wanted to do was be a head coach and coach in the NBA. Nobody from my hometown, Peoria, Illinois, has coached in the NBA, and that's something that I take pride and I work towards every day. And I'm looking forward to being a head coach and running my own program one day.
Next up, this is a funny one right here. Do you believe in creating a fake account so recruits don't know who you are on social media?
Nah. I think that's too fake and phony. But people expose themselves, and you know, no matter if you got a fake account or not, I think at the end of the day, if you do your job, you'll get to know them for who they are anyway. But talking about pulling a KD, huh?
Pulling a KD, huh? Yeah. Now, how can a high school basketball coach get a college coaching job?
I think it's important to work college basketball camps. You got to get a part of, this is a big fraternity. As you know, everybody, you know, got their people and got their group that they're of coaches that they have relationships with. But I would think go to practices, you know, especially locally, and just to try to develop a relationship with the head coach or anybody on staff.
Jimmy, I don't know if you asked us about a recruiting tricks that most families don't know about that is frequently used by coaches. Did you ask him that one?
I haven't asked that one yet. Basically what Hal is asking you is, in the collegiate ranks, you done gave up a nice chunk of the game. Hey, throw us a skip to the blues. Throw one off the wall. What trick do coaches put on parents that they just realize in recruiting that, you know, just a play and you kind of feel guilty doing it, but you do it all the time? Not necessarily you, but coaches.
Yeah, somebody else, not you.
In general, not me, because I would never do nothing like that. But try to get that last visit. Do whatever you can. You know, say you got this going on, you cancel this. Your coach is out of town. You doing whatever you can. If you know that kid is going to make a decision after his last visit, I think you want to do whatever you can to get that last visit, to get them on campus. And, you know, I think we talked about it earlier, if you see somebody in your league or Kentucky or Duke that offer a kid that you was like, you're like, you know what? Hey, you end up offering because, you know, so that's a little trick that I think a lot of people don't know about.
What you got, Jim?
What's a player development session like at Kansas for a freshman that's different from the high school training session? You touched on it a little bit earlier, but somebody just asked that and just got on the
intensity. You know, you look at all these workouts, these kids, and it gets me mad because they got adults and trainers there, but they post these workouts and they going half speed. Then when they get to us, they can't get their shot off because they haven't practiced, you know, going game speed. So I would say being intense and going at a high level, going game speed is the biggest transition.
I got one, Jimmy.
Go on.
Got one. Is it possible for a student assistant to complete internship hours with an assistant coach as yourself? I want to learn from the best.
Yeah, it's possible. You're gonna have to grind it out. You know, it's gonna be tough and hard. It's gonna be, you know, you got to balance school and you know balance basketball. But when I was at Kentucky, I had to take 2 classes. I wasn't on the road, but I did everything but go on the road. But I had to take 2 classes and you know and still do my job. So you could definitely do it. You just have to you know roll your sleeves up and go to work.
Jimmy.
And on yesterday, it was noted that on social media that somebody in one of the conferences, I think the ACC, is contemplating playing HBCUs on Martin Luther King Day. In the Big 12, which the Big 12 is, it could be done for some of the schools, but what's your thoughts on playing on HBCUs and playing them on the road, not at home, on the road? That way your players would, if nothing else, they would get that HBCU experience for one game for as a coach.
I just got excited because I think that's a great idea.
Yes.
That's a great idea. One, to, like you said, even like in our school system, we don't get taught Black history, so we don't know. So in our student athletes, we don't know what HBCUs, you know, what the campuses look like and the culture and the atmospheres at their games. So I think it'd be a great idea. And I'm glad you brought that up because that's the first time I heard about that. But I would love to bring the Kansas Jayhawks to HBCU and get it cracking. I want to hear the band too.
But you know what's so unique is the monies would be different because the venues are mostly smaller, other than the TSU. But some of the venues are smaller, so less people can get in. So how do they balance that, Jerris?
Well, we spoil here. Like the Kansas fans are coming even if they can't get in the arena. We travel better than anybody. They go and just post up at a restaurant and just meet there. So if we go to to HBCU, not only are we coming and sell the arena out, we coming in and bringing business to that town and that community.
Jimmy said that yesterday.
Yeah. That's a blue blood. That's another thing where blue blood. They travel.
They travel. That's good.
We went to South Korea for the University game, World Games, in South Korea, and we almost had 200 fans over there.
Wow.
South Korea. I mean,
wow.
people.
That's a long way, Doc.
So yeah.
Now, real quick, your greatest Billy Gillispie and Bill Self story.
I would say the best Billy Gillispie story is we beat Kansas here on a Saturday night in the field house. Fly back, and we go to his house, and he invite all the staff over, and we swam and enjoy that win all the way till the sun came up. And then I took him to the office, and he watched film and didn't leave until we played Texas on Big Monday. So listen to this. I dropped. We get back Friday night from beating Kansas at Allen Fieldhouse. Come back, everybody go to his house, and we have food. We in the swimming pool, and that morning he gets up. I pick him up and take him to the office, and he stayed in that office from Saturday until after the game on Big Monday night and prepared and watched film. And we beat. It was the best history in Texas A&M basketball at the time. We beat Kansas and then beat Texas, your rival, on the last second shot by AC Law on Big Monday. And that man, he didn't go to sleep. And Coach Self, I could go down the line, but what made Coach Self different to me to everybody is that I call him a light-skinned brother. He got the Obama walk and everything. I mean, just he know.
I saw the video. I saw the video with the gold chain.
He got me with the Dookie chain walking through the vinyl. That was a vinyl store. I don't know why he found a place with records with LPs. That was a vinyl store.
But what's good about it, and it's interesting with everything going on in the world.
Right.
You look at our staff. We got 1, 2, 3, 4. We got 5 African Americans on staff. We got the most anybody in the country, and playing for him as a player, and to know how he loved, whether you black, white, green, or blue. Coach Self is gonna love you no matter what, and it's refreshing to work for a boss that you don't have to tell him what's going on now. You know what I mean? He gets it. He understands it. And that's why I think we've been successful, because he can relate to our players.
Coach, what have y'all done? Jimmy, Coach, what have y'all done to talk to y'all players about the current climate?
Well, we done 2 Zoom meetings. We signed all our kids up to vote. So when they come back to school, like Marcus Garrett, south side of Dallas, come from nothing.
Okay.
Heck of a story. He texted Coach Q and said, Coach, I never voted in my life and I never wanted to vote, but I'm voting now.
Wow.
I mean, that hit home.
Wow.
So this is a kid from the south side of Dallas who gets it now, but didn't get it. But so everything that's happening is really good, because I think right now we could take a stand and use our platform where, forget having a conversation. The conversation has been going on for years now. Let's do something about it. And now to have our kids to vote, that's huge. That's powerful. You're talking about making a change. I think doing that, and then when they come back to campus, whenever they make a decision, we're going to do some stuff as far as meeting together and just trying to change the culture, not only in our basketball program, but our athletic department.
That's good.
Now, last week, as we promised, reminisce about your Illinois Warrior and Riverside Church battles.
Ooh.
Is there any coach that played for, that is in coaching right now that played for the Riverside that you had to play against?
The head coach at Oklahoma State University, my main man.
Mike.
Hold on. What you do against him?
No, you know what? Mike had game.
Yeah, Mike looked like he had game.
Mike had game, but he had a homeboy who he real close to this day, Omar Cook. I don't know if y'all remember Omar.
Oh, yes, sir.
Yeah, I took his ball too. Yeah, ask Mike about that. But those
he say ask Mike about that. Whenever somebody say that,
But Mike, no, back then, like we had Quentin Richardson, Darius Miles, Corey Maggette, Frank Williams. I mean, the list go on. And they had Anthony Glover, Mike, Omar Cook, Ron Artest, just dogs. And our coaches, Larry Butler and their coach, were super close. We'd battle and they'd go out and hang out. But it was personal, but it was so good because we competed at a high level. We all went to Nike All-American Camp and hung out and competed. But those were the days. That was the first time I ever got on a plane and went to New York. It was AAU basketball. And that's why I take it personal when people talk all this negative stuff about AAU basketball, and they just looking at all the negative stuff. There's so much good to come with that. Will come with the summer basketball program. Right. There's so many opportunities that people have. But Illinois Warriors got the best out of them New York boys. I know that. At Midwest Wayne.
I took his ball. His ball too.
They was just fucking everybody. We wasn't going.
Who won the game?
We did.
They did.
And tell Mike if he want to do a reunion, we can put that together too.
Hello.
Yeah. Wait a minute. I'll put it on you. We could go to the Houston. Give me 5. Matter of fact, give me 5, and I'll give you 5. I'm just giving 5 from Chicago, just in general. I ain't talking about clubs. I'm talking about give me your top 5 from Houston. I'm talking about Isaiah Thomas. Yeah.
Yeah. Talking to you, Jimmy.
Oh, you say I did. You talking about our pros?
Yes. Your all-time 5. Houston versus Chicago.
Really?
Can't use Dream. Can't use Dream.
No. Yeah, you can't. Dream was a resident. Dream was voting before he left college. So yes, Dream was a resident. He lived there. You got to give. Yeah.
I'm from Nigeria.
I want to see
Elijah. I'm saying you talking about this from the city or played in the city?
From the city, born and raised. I ain't talking about no from Africa. You can't count Dream. You cheating now. That's why you ain't got enough. You ain't got enough to go up against.
From the team already. I named one player and you say, oh no. You can't. That's why you picking on the sideline.
Only at the shot, baby.
You can't pick him, man. He too old. We got Dream. We take Clyde, of course. Right. We take from Rob Williams.
Got to have Rob.
From H-Town. We take Rashard Lewis. It'd be my 3.
It's good.
From H-Town.
Fox.
Right now, Fox is on the uptick, but I would take TJ and put him on the 4. But we have so many players from back then. I was just thinking of guys.
Who was your guy? Who was your favorite player that you swear by?
You,
he went down there with Butch.
We talking about Tack? No, Tack wouldn't be on this team right here.
Okay.
I love Tack, but
he wouldn't be on this. It's so
he was a bad boy though.
It's so many. It's so many because you got guys from the old school, and you got guys from the new school.
Elvin Hayes, you got
and all them guys. That's what we have to have an old school team and a new school team.
Okay.
And that way it don't disrespect the days of before, let's say the turn of the millennium or before 1990. You know, we go 1990 up, and I can definitely make one easy. You know, but you have to set the boundary.
Hey, hold on, I got a special guest.
Oh, you got
it. Special guest.
What's up, Coach? What's up, Coach?
Like in the way it used to be, huh? How's it going?
Hey, what's going on, Coach? Hey, look like you got some Nikes on.
No, he don't.
I know he don't.
Hey, we keep office hours around here, and you built the man up for about 3 hours now.
Hey, he working, Coach. He getting it done.
Coach, he getting it done, Coach. Wow.
He does get it done. I give him that. That's for sure. You men okay?
Yes, sir.
And we do it down in H-Town, doing pretty good. Coach, is there going to be a live period in the fall for the Division I schools to come out?
I'm not in on the know on that yet, but I believe there will be. Okay. There's got to be. I mean, because you can make the recruiting period beginning September 9 live. You know, I don't know yet about August though. I don't know yet. I think Adidas may still be having some events, and if I'm not mistaken, Houston Hoops and some others are going to be throwing on some regional events. Am I right on that?
Kind of similar. No, Coach Lucas is throwing one in August.
Okay.
So, well, that's good. Hopefully somebody other than the Longhorns can actually attend that.
I just realized what he said. Hey, Coach, Stacey Houston said, man, you look like you've been in that weight room.
Oh, is that because I've just gained that much weight?
No, he said you're looking good.
I don't like hearing that.
Hey, man. Hey, Coach, man, it's always good, man. We definitely appreciate you. We see you guys on the road, man. And hey, Jerris, man, that was great convo.
Great, Jerris.
And you answered pretty much all the questions, man, that they asked. I mean, it was great.
Yeah.
Dropping nuggets and helping to inform the community out there. We thank everybody, man, from the Chop Shop for making it what it has become. You guys out there on YouTube, Facebook, you guys held it down today. Don't forget, speaking of UT, tomorrow's guest is TJ Ford on the Chop Shop.
That's all right. We're good with TJ.
And
I never had to figure out how to guard him, so I'm good. I'm good with him.
And then on Thursday, we have a very special show that you guys don't want to miss.
Right.
We have the mayor of Houston. We have our Congresswoman Sheila Jackson Lee. We have Garnet Coleman, House of Representatives. We have. I mean, how do we have? I looked
at the list and just threw it away.
Boris Miles, Rodney Ellis. We have Tony Dorado with Nike. Yeah. We have Ricky Winslow, Damian Dotson, Michael Young, Joseph Young. Jawan McClellan. Just to name a few. Yes, we're going to get them on the show.
And guess what? Coach Howard and Bill Self just set the table for Thursday. Thank y'all so much. Thank y'all so much, Coach.
And of course, man, appreciate it, guys. It's time to slide on down Dino's back and yabba dabba do this thing. We up out here, guys.
All right.
Chop Shop.
Jim Hicks. Rob Hatter. You are now tuned in to the Chop Shop. I'm Retro. Let's get it. We in the Chop Shop. We live in the Chop Shop. We talking sports talk. We live in the Chop Shop. We in the Chop Shop. I'm talking sports talk. So turn your dials up. It's live in the Chop Shop. We in the Chop Shop. We live in the Chop Shop. We talking sports talk. We live in the Chop Shop.